Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine of Flora. If you're new to my channel, I grow cut flowers in Zone 5A in Northwest Iowa. And this video is part 2 of my 2023 garden plan. A few days ago, I posted part 1 where I showed you guys the plan for my main growing area, my cottage garden area, and my pumpkin planting area, which are the 3 areas that I have been growing out of for the past couple years and selling my cut flowers. In this video, I want to share with you guys the new planting areas that I am adding for this year, and I am so excited. All of these areas are actually going to be located out in my parking lot, which, if you're listening to this for the first time, you're probably thinking, what? She is totally crazy. So, little backstory quick. My cut flower garden is located downtown in my small town in Northwest Iowa next to my business. So I grow cut flowers here. I also have been a professional photographer for about 20 years, and so this is also where my studio is. Behind my building, I have a huge area. I think it is something like, actually let me look at my diagram quick. Okay, so roughly 60 by 80 feet wide is my parking lot. It's a rock area. It's not quite all rectangle, so that is probably just an approximate measurement, but it's all rock. And the last couple years I keep thinking, I need more space. Where can I get more space without, going and looking for new land? And so I have this huge parking lot that the only thing I do is park my little car, my little SUV out there, and I actually pull all the way up to a concrete area to park. So it's full sun. And so I'm thinking, I'm going to just develop my parking lot into planting area. Now, with that comes some challenges. Yes, it is rock. Yes, it has been driven on for years. And so I'm going to put a diagram up on the screen and kind of show you guys my plan and my layout. But last fall, when I knew this was something that I was going to do, we started prepping for it. So I had someone come in with their skid loader, and I had them clear an area about 20 by 30 in size just to get started for where my hoop house could go. And so we cleared the rock from that area. I did not want to till that area up because for one thing, the dirt probably isn't very good, and I need to plant in nice soil and not just compacted dirt. And I didn't want to just till up more rocks. So that area where we have moved the rock, we are actually going to have dirt brought in, and that will be kind of leveled out, and the hoop house will go on top of that. And then on top of that dirt, we'll bring in compost, and that is actually what I will be planting in. Now, before we actually bring in the dirt as well, I have a ton of cardboard saved. So I'm going to cover that entire area with cardboard to do the no-dig way of planting. That also will suppress any weeds that are left like way down in there. So it should actually make a really, really nice planting area. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this diagram up on the screen so you guys can see it, and I will kind of talk you through this. All right, so I decided to do a screen record for this so I can actually point out a few things. This is a diagram of my entire property. It is to the foot. Yes, I am an excessive planner, but this just enables me to kind of see things exactly how they will be. So this is my studio. This is a 40 by 50 building. This is the roughly 30 by 60 fenced in garden. My little greenhouse is probably right about here. This is what I went over in video 1. My garden shed is here. My pergola is about in here. And then on the outside of the fence, this is the cottage garden area that I have. I also talked about that in video 1. My pumpkin bed is actually all the way down in this corner. This says north. So the top on this one is actually south. It just makes more sense for me to talk about it this way. So when you come out the back door of my studio, you go through the garden shed. This is usually where I park my car. This is all concrete. And then this is my parking lot area. This is the area that I am going to be developing next year, or this year. I say it like it's next year, but we're in this year. So I'm going to zoom in on this for you guys. Whoa. Okay, so my screen is not moving very well. It's like so big of a file. There we go. Okay, so you guys can see that just a little bit better. So you come on my building. This is my garden shed. This is the whole concrete area. This rectangle right here, this actually represents, I have 4 4x4 raised beds already in this area. I'm going to add 4 more here. So this rectangle measurement is actually 8 4x4 raised beds and how they will be spaced. Originally, I was going to have my hoop house run this way so that you'd walk into the hoop house from this concrete area. But then I was trying to figure out where my pumpkin's gonna grow, how many beds can I fit in here. So I decided to flip my hoop house. So you actually will enter in right here. It's a 16 by 28 hoop house. It's from Grower Solutions. I am really excited to put it up, but that will run this way. And then next to it will be a 5-foot walkway because I want to be able to get carts and things through here. All my pumpkins are actually vining out right here. This measurement is about 8 feet right here from the end of the bed. So they're planted in beds that aren't even represented on the screen. And then they have about 8 feet to vine out. So I want to allow a walkway here. And then I figure I can fit, oops, sorry, that keeps moving. The alley is over here where people drive. So this is kind of, this black line is the property line. But I also would like to put a fence there. I feel like I can fit 5 long beds in here. These would be 3-foot beds, and this would be a 4-foot bed that I could fit 14 peonies in if I planted them staggered, because that's about how many peonies that I have to put in the ground that I'm overwintering in pots. So this would kind of just be some open area unless I made the beds a little bit longer. But if I could get 8 4x4 raised beds here, my big hoop house here, a nice walkway, and 5 more planting beds here. Let me go back to my original diagram. Between all of this planting space, this is about 75% of the square footage is this. So that would add an immense amount of planting space to my area. Now, there is another building over here, so this area I will leave undeveloped as of right now, but I wouldn't mind putting a fence along here, developing this as well, and somehow you drive in right here, like maybe a garage. That's for way down the road, but I'm really excited to get this area developed this year. It looks like a big undertaking, but once I get the hoop house up, I can easily put 5 beds in. Okay, so that's kind of my plan on the layout of the area. I want to bring up the picture now of what my hoop house is gonna look like. So here's a picture of an example off of the Grower Solution website. It's a 16 by 28 greenhouse. It's a low sidewall greenhouse. I did purchase the front end kit so I can put an actual door on it. And then I also purchased the roll up sides so that I don't have to tack the plastic up on each side when I want the ventilation to come through. It'll just be one lift it'll have poles in there, and then it'll lift up really easily. From what their website says, like it should just all be really slick. And I will be doing videos when we put the greenhouse up to show you guys all of this, but it looks like a really nice model. I have been so impressed with their company so far. Just with the customer service and the delivery and everything. So I just absolutely cannot wait to show you guys this. But let me put a picture up on the screen now of what the inside of my hoop house layout will be like. So I'm going to put a picture of this diagram vertical on the screen just so you guys can see the names of all the flowers that I have in here. But basically this middle planting area is going to start off being all of my ranunculus. This will get planted as early as it possibly can be planted in the spring. Once these are done, they will be cleared out, and this whole list right below it will be all of the things that I can possibly succession plant in that area. So cress, baby's breath, feverfew, or Leia, possibly some more sunflowers, Dara, Bupleurum, Amazon dianthus, celosia, mignonette, and honeywort. Now, quite a few of those can easily be direct sown in that spot. Some of the others, if I want to plant those as a succession planting, I'm going to have to start some seedlings ahead of time and plan for that. But like cress, I can easily direct sow, bupleurum, dara. So those are things that I will really be able to fill in easy in that area to get a whole second planting in that space. To put this back up on the screen, being 16 feet wide, I have 2-foot pathways. Those are what the gray lines are. And then these are 4-foot beds. So I have 3 4-foot beds and then the 2 pathways. The left side here, I'm going to be doing about 140 snapdragons, starting off with about 70 cress plants. And then I can fit about 450 lisianthus in this area, planted at 4 inches apart. Then on the other side, at 4 inches apart, also I can fit about 288 stock plants. And then I would like to try dahlias in my hoop house. So I figure in this area, I can fit about 42 dahlia plants. Now, I've been trying to do a lot of reading online and, looking at different websites to see what people plant in their hoop houses. And that is kind of how I came up with this list on what I will be planting in my hoop house. Like, obviously ranunculus does good in a hoop house. I have read that stock will get so much taller in a hoop house. So all of my stock will be planted in my hoop house this spring. All of my ranunculus, obviously. And then dahlias, I'm doing some dahlias outside, some in the hoop house. Now, I've seen other flower farmers. There is also another flower farmer that I know of in Iowa. She grows all of her dahlias in hoop houses because then she doesn't deal with the bug pressure. They grow well for me outside, so I'm splitting my dahlias in half this year. Snapdragons I have seen grow well in hoop house, so I'm splitting those up this year. I just kind of want to experiment for my first year and see what grows well in a hoop house for me and, what doesn't. So a lot of these will be trial and error, and I will share that with you guys so you can see exactly what works best for me. But I'm really excited about experimenting this year and seeing, what works and what doesn't. The really great thing about the hoop house though, especially with the ranunculus and the stock, is I'm going to be able to plant those things in there so much earlier than if I would have planted them outside. So in addition to having tulips and daffodils in the early spring, I will hopefully have stock, not quite as early as the ranunculus, but I'll have ranunculus. And, that just extends my growing season. Also in the fall, when we start getting our frost in October, maybe I will have plants in my hoop house into November. I mean, who knows? I'm sure every year it'll be a little different, but if I can extend my growing season earlier and later, that just adds to more flowers I can grow and that adds to my income. So I think it will be a really, really great experiment. As far as those 5 additional beds go that will be added in next to the hoop house will go in first and then those can go in. The 1 4-foot bed, I obviously want to fit a bunch of peony plants in. And then the 4 3-foot beds will be other succession plantings of annuals. 2 of them I would like to fully devote to sunflowers because I want to be able to have multiple plantings of sunflowers, to have sunflowers at least all the way till the end of September because I do that huge mark at the end of September that I absolutely have to have sunflowers for. So I'm sure I'll fill them up, but I definitely want at least 2 more planting areas of sunflowers. So more to be determined on how that goes, but I will make sure to keep you guys updated along the way. But I just really wanted to share my plan with you guys. Maybe it's a little over ambitious, maybe not. The hoop house is going to get put up. I can build raised beds myself. It's part of the rock is moved. I can scrape away the rest of the rock. I can screw some boards together. I'll order compost to be delivered in. It should go really good. So I'm just really excited. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you're still watching, you're probably really tired of hearing me ramble on. But stay tuned for all of that in the spring. I can't wait to get started and I can't wait to share with you guys how everything goes. So we'll see you soon.